In the picturesque hamlet of Kingsbridge, England, nestled among the rolling green pastures and the shroud of an age-old forest, lived two young boys named Arthur and James. Brothers in blood and kindred spirits by heart, they were adventurers, their souls yearning for the thrill of discovery and the exhilaration of the unknown. The vast forest, with its towering trees, chattering brooks, and labyrinthine trails, was their sanctuary from the mundane monotony of everyday life. Here, their imaginations knew no bounds. They transformed into gallant knights, intrepid explorers, or audacious pirates, as their whims dictated. One autumn afternoon, as the leaves adorned themselves in fiery hues of red, orange, and gold, and the air held the crisp promise of the approaching winter, the boys' parents, yearning for a moment's respite from their sons' ceaseless energy, sent them out to play. Their eyes sparkling with anticipation and youthful excitement, Arthur and James darted towards their beloved woods. Their jovial laughter filled the air, intertwining with the rustling of leaves and the hushed whispers of the forest. The brothers ventured deeper into the forest, their familiar path guiding them past moss-laden trees and over rocks blanketed in dew. They found themselves in an area of the forest they barely recognized. A mound of fallen leaves and an aged, threadbare blanket concealed an ominous hole in the ground. This was a new mystery in their well-trodden forest, a puzzle demanding to be solved. As they stepped closer to investigate, the earth gave way beneath their feet, swallowing them into an abyss. A chilling scream pierced the air as they fell, their terrified cries bouncing off the cavernous walls. The impact of their landing disoriented them, the breath knocked out of their bodies. They found themselves in an intricate, labyrinthine cave, its winding paths and countless offshoots cloaked in an oppressive darkness. The comforting daylight from the entrance was now a distant, forgotten memory. Panic clutched at their hearts, their breaths coming out in shallow, frightened gasps. Just as fear threatened to consume them, a torch sputtered to life, tearing through the darkness. Its sinister glow painted grotesque shadows on the cave walls, turning the innocent stalagmites into hideous creatures. Emerging from the gloom was the torchbearer, an elderly woman bent with age, her face contorted with an unsettling malevolence. In the dim, flickering light, she seemed less human and more a ghoul from their most frightening nightmares. "Welcome, boys," she rasped, her voice echoing ominously through the cavern. "It's your judgment day." She busied herself preparing a large cauldron over a roaring fire, the flames dancing manically and casting a hellish glow around the cave. The boys, their hearts pounding like drums in their chests, watched in growing horror as she filled the pot with water and began to stoke the flames. As the water heated, she turned her attention back to Arthur and James, binding them with rough, abrasive ropes to a thick, gnarled tree limb that hung ominously above the pot. The water below began to bubble and hiss, steam rising in ethereal tendrils. The witch cackled, her laughter a chilling echo that bounced off the cave walls. Just as the boys' fear reached its peak, a gunshot echoed through the cave, its sound a stark contrast to the witch's mirth. Their father, having followed their footprints into the forest, had bravely descended into the pit, gun in hand. The witch crumbled, only to rise again with a chilling groan. With an unholy strength, she snatched the gun from their father's grasp, her grotesque smile gleaming in the torchlight. The cave fell into an eerie silence, save for the bubbling cauldron and the harsh breathing of the witch. The boys watched in petrified silence, their hearts pounding against their ribs. However, their father wasn't defeated yet. With a wild roar that resonated throughout the cave, he lunged at the witch. His hands, weathered from years of hard work, found purchase around her frail neck. With a swift, brutal twist born out of sheer desperation and raw parental instinct, he snapped her neck. The sound echoed through the cavern, a grim testament to their horrifying encounter. This time, the witch lay motionless, her reign of terror extinguished. Exhausted and trembling, their father quickly untied Arthur and James, their reunion marked by relieved tears and whispered words of comfort. They clung to each other, their hearts still racing. But the worst was over. Their father led them back through the winding tunnels and up towards the fading daylight, leaving the twisted abyss and its fallen occupant behind. The boys' innocent romp through the woods had transformed into a harrowing encounter in the twisted depths of the earth. It was a chilling reminder of the fine line between reality and the macabre stories they'd once relished as mere bedtime tales. From that day forward, their adventures carried a note of caution, and the forest, once a playground, now bore the haunting memories of a real-life monster. No longer were they just Arthur and James, the fearless adventurers. They were the boys who'd stared into the face of true evil and lived to tell the tale. Their innocence had been shattered, replaced by a newfound respect for the dangerous allure of the unknown. And the woods? They were no longer just trees and trails. They were keepers of a dark secret, of an abyss where the witch had once lived, and where their childhood had forever been altered. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more true scary stories.